We often hear that America is one of the richest countries in the world by total GDP. But where is the wealth? Where is the money? Drive around the country and we'll see scenes that feel like something out of a post-apocalyptic film. Poverty, neglect, and forgotten towns that challenge the idea of America as a land of wealth. But head in a different direction, and soon enough we'll find pockets of stunning wealth, places that feel like luxury, comfort, and heaven on earth. So where does the wealth really live? Let's follow the money. Coming in at number 10 as one of the richest states in America is Virginia, the birthplace of 8 U.S. presidents, including George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, and home to the Pentagon and CIA headquarters. The state has one of the highest concentrations of wealth in the nation, fueled by a unique mix of government, military, tech, and old Virginia generational wealth. Estimates suggest Virginia is home to at least 272,000 millionaire households. It consistently ranks among the top states for high-income households, medium income, and wealth per capita. What makes Virginia stand out isn't just the numbers. It's a blend of government contracting, tech, military, and old generational money that quietly powers the state's economy. Nowhere is this more apparent than in Northern Virginia, which benefits from its proximity to Washington, D.C. The region ranks in the top 5 nationally for tech employment, thanks to companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, who are investing billions to build out government cloud infrastructure. Combine that with a dense population of attorneys, lobbyists, defense contractors, and federal consultants, and we get one of the wealthiest areas in the country. Drive through McLean or Great Falls, and we'll see homes selling for $3 to $8 million, with some worth over $10 million. Virginia is a quiet powerhouse blending old money, political influence, and cutting-edge innovation. But if Virginia is where legacy and government drive wealth, then number 9 is where tech titans built a new kind of fortune. Heading over to Washington, the only state in America named after a U.S. president. When we think about Washington, we usually think only of Seattle, gloomy weather year-round and rain. At least 234,000 millionaire households live in the state, though the real number is most likely much higher, since Washington state has been fueled by decades of research and high-tech innovation and expansion. Drive through Bellevue, Redmond, and Mercer Island, and we'll see Tesla after Tesla parked in the driveways of homes that look modest but cost $2 million. These aren't flashy tech bros, they're software engineers and tech employees who've been quietly accumulating stock options for decades. Plus, with no state income tax, every dollar goes further. Both Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos built their homes here, creating massive wealth not just for themselves but for tens of thousands of early employees who became millionaires through stock options. Washington is also home to Boeing, Costco, T-Mobile, Nordstrom, and Zillow, along with a booming startup ecosystem and some of the world's largest cloud infrastructure companies. Starbucks began back here too, back in 1971. While Western Washington gets a lot of attention, Eastern Washington is the agricultural engine of the state, producing over 60% of the nation's apples and leading the country in sweet cherry and hops production. Now let's head back to the other side of the country where a lot of old money lives. Massachusetts is where the American Revolution began, where Harvard and MIT set the standard for research and higher education, and where the Patriots, Red Sox, and Celtics keep the spirit of competition alive. It also happens to be home to one of the highest concentrations of millionaires in the country. As the country's 7th smallest state, Massachusetts has at least 255,000 millionaire households. Wealth here is closely tied to innovation, medicine, finance, and generational legacy. We've got Beacon Hill families whose fortunes trace back to the 1800s, living alongside biotech executives. Drive through Cambridge and we'll see Nobel Prize winners living next to venture capitalists, all within walking distance of Harvard Square. Often called the Silicon Valley of biotech, Massachusetts leads the nation in life sciences, education, and research. Major players like GE, Thermo Fisher Scientific, Fidelity Investments, and Dunkin' Donuts are headquartered here, while Boston Dynamics, the world's leading robotics firm, pushes the boundaries of innovation from its headquarters just outside Boston. Head south to Cape Cod, where $10 million beachfront homes are owned by celebrities, CEOs, and old money dynasties. Drive west to Berkshire County, where artists, writers, and wealthy New Yorkers retreat to forested estates and summer events at cultural landmarks like Tanglewood. Even the college towns, Amherst, Northampton, Binghamton, Williamstown draw professors, investors, and quietly wealthy retirees seeking a blend of culture, nature, and intellectual life. Across the state, wealth isn't just concentrated, it's cultivated, preserved, and reinvested in education, ideas, and legacy. Not too far from Massachusetts is the next state on our list, another place where wealth runs deep, even though it may not seem like it at first. We can't ignore Pennsylvania, the ultimate sleeper state that's fooling everyone. We often hear about the dying coal mine industry and defunct factories, and while that's partially true, Pennsylvania is also a massive state, one of America's most diverse economies. Strategically situated near New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, and DC, it's perfectly positioned to capture wealth flowing between major economic centers. With at least 330,000 millionaire households, Pennsylvania proves that quiet money is often deepest money. Drive through the mainline suburbs of Philadelphia like Villanova and Radnor and we'll see generational wealth rooted in East Coast legacy. Out west in wooded towns like Sewickley near Pittsburgh, pockets of old money and quiet affluence remain. While the region has faced decline, there are quiet reminders of a time when Pennsylvania stood at the center of American industry. In the state, natural resources like coal, oil, and natural gas are abundant. Major corporations like Comcast, PNC Bank, and Aramark all call Pennsylvania home, while iconic brands like Heinz Ketchup was born in Pittsburgh. Here's a fun fact. Out near Harrisburg, the state capital, Hershey's chocolate empire became so successful that Milton Hershey literally built an entire town around his factory, complete with Hershey's kiss-shaped street lamps lining the roads. With a GDP exceeding $950 billion, Pennsylvania ranks among the top 6 largest state economies in the US, proving that sometimes the biggest fortunes hide in the most unexpected places. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to State of America if you care about the state of the country and our future. Let's cross over the state line to our next state. Home to 5 of the 10 wealthiest counties in the country by median income, New Jersey has at least 324,000 millionaire households. Jersey is where the proximity game pays off big time, with both Philadelphia and Manhattan just a drive away. Wealthy Wall Street executives, pharmaceutical company owners, and real estate moguls have long made New Jersey their home. Not because it's slightly lower in taxes, but because it offers a strategic balance. Proximity to New York City, spacious homes in wealthy suburbs, and the ability to avoid the city's extra income tax while maintaining East Coast access and prestige. The median household income in Jersey consistently ranks in the top 3 nationally, around $89,000. But that number is deceiving because it's pulled down by less affluent areas. In millionaire circles, we're talking about household incomes routinely hitting mid-6 figures or more. The state also has one of the highest percentages of millionaires per capita in the country, but we're not looking at ratios here. We want to understand where the wealth is. New Jersey is a global pharma hub, home to the global headquarters of Johnson & Johnson, Merck, and Bristol Myers Squibb, and the U.S. headquarters of Novartis. This concentration of R&D, manufacturing, and corporate leadership has generated substantial wealth, resulting in many high-earning executives and employees. In towns like Alpine, homes can cost over $10 million with amenities like home theaters, sport courts, multiple fireplaces, and full property surveillance, all just a drive from Manhattan. Along the Hudson River, in places like Weehawken and West New York, luxury condos with skyline views form New Jersey's own Millionaires Row, selling for $2 to $8 million. This just shows that sometimes the best seat in the house is across the river from the actual show. Up next, 5 states where wealth moves at a different scale. Now, let's head to the middle of the country. Illinois, home to Chicago, the 3rd largest city economy in America and a global hub for finance, trading, and logistics. Illinois has long been a magnet for generational and corporate wealth. It consistently ranks among the top states for total wealth with over 347 millionaire households and a high number of high-income earners. Much of Illinois' wealth is concentrated in in and around Chicago, especially in elite suburbs like Winnetka, Lake Forest, Hinesdale, and Oak Brook. The state hosts the second highest number of Fortune 500 companies in the U.S., including McDonald's, Boeing, United Airlines, State Farm, Allstate, Walgreens, and CME Group, where global commodity prices are literally set every day. When wheat prices spike in Ukraine or oil futures crash, it's happening right here in the Chicago trading pits. Ray Kroc opened the first McDonald's franchise in Des Plaines in 1955. Oprah Winfrey built her billion-dollar media empire in Chicago. Current Governor J.B. Pritzker comes from the billionaire Hyatt Hotels family. Sitting at the crossroads of America, Illinois is a logistical superpower, a hub for rail, highways, and air cargo, with O'Hare Airport among the busiest in the world. But while Illinois built its fortune on industry infrastructure and quiet generational wealth, our next state took a different path: sunshine, real estate, and rapid migration. Let's head south now, where wealth isn't just growing, it's exploding. Florida is where some of America's wealthiest come to retire and where those looking to grow their empires come to build. And the numbers are absolutely staggering. There are at least 500,000 millionaire households in the Sunshine State. According to IRS data, in 2022, the state added over $39 billion in net income from incoming residents, making it the #1 state for inbound wealth migration. Residents in Florida also pay zero income tax. In recent years, Florida has become a magnet for tech billionaires, crypto investors, hedge fund managers, and retired CEOs. Drive through Palm Beach, Naples, or Miami's Indian Creek Island, and we'll see what extreme wealth looks like. Oceanfront mansions worth tens of millions of dollars, gated estates with private docks, and neighborhoods where the ultra-rich live unbothered. Fisher Island, which consistently ranks among the richest zip codes in America, has a median home value around $5.5 million and was reported by Bloomberg to have an average resident income of about $2.5 million. Accessible only via ferry, boat, or helicopter, it epitomizes privately scaled elite living, because when you're that wealthy, bridges are just for regular people. Florida's wealth isn't confined to oceanfront mansions. Drive inland and we'll find places like The Villages, one of the fastest growing metro areas in the country, where more than 140,000 retirees live in planned communities with golf cart lanes, rec centers, and over 50 golf courses. It's not billionaire wealth, but it's a different kind of comfort that still signals how desirable Florida has become for some. So while other states lose population and wealth, Florida's economy keeps rising, fueled by migration, luxury real estate, and one of the most business-friendly environments in the country. But if Florida is where money goes to play, the next state is where money is made. Welcome to New York, the state where if we can make it here, we can make it anywhere. It is estimated that 1 in every 22 New York City residents is a millionaire, which helps explain the staggering living costs. There are over 385,000 millionaire households residing in the city alone. Manhattan alone likely has more millionaires per square mile than entire countries. Like it or not, wealth in New York City is loud, proud, and utterly unapologetic. Hedge fund titans, real estate moguls, media empires, and finance dynasties regularly move global markets with a single phone call. New York City has a GDP of $1 trillion, making it one of the largest city economies in the world. The city is home to over 50 Fortune 500 companies, including JP Morgan Chase, Verizon, Pfizer, MetLife, Goldman Sachs, and American Express. Of course, the rest of the state is not like Manhattan. Outside the towering skyscrapers and luxury condos, New York's economic story is far more diverse. Upstate, we'll find college towns like Ithaca and cultural gems like Saratoga Springs, where wealth is much quieter but still present. Head east to Brooklyn, the wealth becomes louder. The Hamptons of Long Island serve as a summer playground for the ultra-wealthy, where beachfront estates are worth tens of millions of dollars. North of Manhattan is Westchester County, home to some of the richest suburbs in America, like Scarsdale and Bronxville, where generational wealth lives in quiet luxury and the spirit of John D. Rockefeller lingers. New York's economy as a whole is massive. The state's GDP recently topped $2.3 trillion, making it the third largest state economy in the US. If New York were its own country, it would rank among the top 10 economies in the world, bigger than Canada or South Korea. This state is where the world's elite come to play, create, and invest, and where ambitious dreamers from every corner of the globe come to prove themselves. They say everything's bigger in Texas, and when it comes to wealth and growth opportunities, they're absolutely right. With over 650,000 millionaire households, Texas has become one of America's top economic powerhouses. Since 2020, over 555,000 people have moved to Texas, many of them high earners leaving behind high tax states like California and New York. Texas now has a $2.7 trillion economy, making it the second largest state economy in the US and bigger than countries like Italy and Brazil. If Texas were a country, it'd be the 8th largest economy in the world. It's home to renowned companies like ExxonMobil, AT&T, Dell, American Airlines, Charles Schwab, Tesla, and Oracle. Major players that generate massive wealth and employ hundreds of thousands. Texas is the nation's top exporting state, generating about $455 billion in exports in 2024, roughly 22% of total U.S. exports, a lead it has held for more than 2 decades. The state excels in oil and gas, aerospace, agriculture, and technology. Austin, known as Silicon Hills, hosts major tech players like Dell and Texas Instruments. Houston, the self-described energy capital of the world, houses the NASA Johnson Space Center and more than 5,000 energy companies. These industries collectively sustain Texas's role as a global powerhouse. The wealth in Texas is outsized. Think $50 million ranch estates, private helipads in downtown high-rises, in neighborhoods like River Oaks, Crescent Hollow, and Westlake, where oil executives, tech founders, financiers live side by side. Additionally, there's no state income tax. This one policy has drawn people like Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and tens of thousands of high earners who realized they could keep more of their income just by moving into the state. Texas hasn't just been growing. It's aggressively taking charge and becoming a place where wealth comes, is created, and stays. But can it eventually overcome the next state? Coming in at number 1 for the most millionaire households in America is none other than the Golden State. California is home to well over 1 million millionaire households, and in some parts of the state, it barely feels surprising. In fact, simply owning a home in California can make someone a millionaire on paper. In 2022, California had approximately 1.73 million homes valued at $1 million or more, representing 41% of all million-dollar homes in the United States, according to the Orange County Register. This means that generational homeowners or early buyers can easily find themselves with 7-figure net worths, even if they are not living extravagantly. California is where tech fortunes are built from scratch, Hollywood dreams turn into beachfront estates, and healthcare professionals routinely earn mid-6 figures. In many of the state's wealthiest counties, like Santa Clara, San Mateo, and Marin, a basic starter home can easily cost $1 million or more. In Southern California, the conditions are similar. The Golden State is rich in money and global influence. This is where the world's most powerful companies are headquartered, including Apple, Google, Meta, Nvidia, OpenAI, Disney, Netflix, Salesforce, and Wells Fargo. These cultural and economic giants employ hundreds of thousands in the state and millions worldwide, shaping not just California's economy, but the future of technology, entertainment, agriculture, and trade. But here's the flip side to all this wealth. California also has some of the worst poverty in America. The darker side of being surrounded by abundance is that if we're not earning a high income or not able to compete in an ultra-competitive job market or don't have the right skills or know the right people, just existing here becomes nearly impossible. Skid Row exists in the heart of downtown Los Angeles, just miles from the iconic Staples center. In 2024, over 187,000 people in California were living without a home, sleeping in shelters, cars, or tents on sidewalks. That's nearly 1 in 3 of the nation's entire unhoused population, driven by extreme housing demand and the soaring cost of living. This is what I meant when I said heaven and hell can exist side by side. California isn't just the richest state, it's the clearest example of America's wealth divide, all packed into one region and fully on display for the world to see. So what does this all tell us? The wealth in America is real, but it's just not evenly visible or distributed. We just have to know where to look. Now that you've seen the 10 richest states in America, watch our last video on the 10 states that would suffer the most in an economic crash. Almost all of them the poorest in the country.